Hello, welcome back once again to the ongoing lecture series on Sudha Murty's Wise and Otherwise as part of the GE paper titled Life and Literature offered by the Department of English at University of Delhi. It's good to see you once again. My name is Piyush Chaudhary, Assistant Professor at Hansraj College, University of Delhi. I'm glad to see you all again in this ongoing lecture series. So in the previous lectures, we completed the first 15 anecdotes by Sudha Murty. This lecture will take up story number 16 till story number 20. As we know, we are doing it in multiples of 5, and through these lectures I'll be giving you brief commentaries on each and every topic, each and every chapter by Sudha Murty. As we know, this entire paper is a collection of 51 anecdotes by Sudha Murty, and in multiples of 5 I'll be taking up each and every subsequent chapter. Right, so this is chapter number 16. As you can see, the name of the title of the story is Idealist at 20, Realist at 40. That is the title of story number 16. So Sudha Murty talks about her friend Vimla, who during her younger days was very vain and very proud of her beauty, but then later on, after 25 years, her entire beauty has vanished. Then Sudha Murty talks about her another friend. Her name is Vinuta. She was not having who was not living a happy life. She was not having a very happy life because her husband always used to pester her about small things. Then she meets another friend. Her name was Ratna. So these three people, Ratna, who was a very simple looking woman, but after 25 years she has become extremely different. Now she looks brilliant. She is doing well in life. She is earning good. She is a very successful businesswoman and very fashionable also. But earlier on, 25 years ago, things were very different. So Ratna then told everyone that she started a business, realizing that her husband could help her. So they started to get into designing. Right. So Sudha Murty says that they all thought that Vinuta would be successful and that, Ratna would be a very mediocre woman, but things have completely changed now after 25 years. So therefore, the lesson that we get from the story is, and we never know what we are right now. So by our hard work, we can do things, and one must not ever be vain about anything because everything is, it's ephemeral. Isn't it? It's all ephemeral. It can last for a very short period of time. So one must always look at the bright side. One must always try to improve themselves, and one must not be egoistic or vain. Vain might be the right word. One must never be egoistic or vain about their achievements or about their good looks or about their anything which they have better than the others. Rather, it's always better to share that with others. One must never be arrogant about their knowledge, because then it's no knowledge at all, right? So the idea is that people change over time, and this story is about life in general. This particular story is about what happens in life. So Sudha Murty is sharing all these anecdotes with us so that we can understand the various shades of life. We can understand how life changes. So therefore, as students of University of Delhi, you must also understand that time and tide, they wait for none, right? And that things change. Things can go from bad to worse, things can go from good to bad, and things can go from bad to brilliant as well. So this is the lesson that story number 16 is giving us. Next up, we have story number 17, which is titled What is a Red Letter Day? A Holiday. Now in this story, we are described one of the key tropes is the cleverness of the city versus the simplicity of the village. So the city versus village dichotomy is present in a lot of stories by Sudha Murty. So Sudha Murty is living in a city. She's working in a cosmopolitan modern city. She's a philanthropist working in an IT company. But then she goes on to understand the people in the villages. So once again, like in several other stories, that we have discussed and that we will be discussing, in the subsequent lecture, she once again goes to a village in Karnataka, and there she says that people are not coming on the 15th of August to celebrate Independence Day because everybody just wants to stay at their home, and they simply want to enjoy the holiday, right? So Sudha Murty is upset to know, and she also gets to know that one day a very reputed chief guest was invited who was a senior government official, but then he got to know that none of the students have come on 15th August because everybody wants to stay at their home, right? Out of thousands of students in that school, for that chief guest, just a handful of students came, and he gave the speech just to a handful of students. So even the parents do not want their children to go to the school on a holiday. So Sudha Murty says that on 15th August, or perhaps on days like 26 January, it is better to have regular schools, and these should not be held as holidays, because then we are forgetting the martyrdom, we are forgetting the martyrs because of whom today in 2025 we are an independent nation. So this story basically gives us an insight about how people are changing, how cultures are changing. And if you remember in the previous lectures, we also discussed one such similar story, where Diwali is not being created, Holi is not being created the way it was earlier on. So it's a sad state of affairs where people do not come to enjoy Independence Day and to celebrate Republic Day. Rather, they just look at it as just another day to sit in the home and to spend the entire home sitting on their bed. So that is not good according to Sudha Murty. So this is story number 17. Next up, we have story number 18, which is titled Once Upon a Time Life Was Simple. So again, the story tells us, how one Sudha Murty goes to transfer the connection of gas, which was earlier on in her father's name, and after his death, she goes to change. But then due to the bureaucratic hurdles, so many rules and regulations, Sudha Murty is not even able to do this simple thing. She's not able to transfer the name of, her father onto her own name. Right, so she says that laws become difficult to follow when their purpose is lost. So the purpose of law is to make things easy rather than making things difficult, right? So how laws are being interpreted by bureaucratic officials. So that is, it's just a simple story about how law should be interpreted in a way that will benefit people. That is story number 18. Next up, story number 19, which is titled Powerful Politicians and Unsung Donors. So this is a very realistic story. It's a sad story, but it makes us critically aware of what society we are actually living in. So there is, Sudha Murty has donated a huge amount of money for a new hospital, and in this hospital, the hospital has invited the health minister. He's the chief guest, and Sudha Murty is also sitting on the dais. She has been given a corner seat, but all huge amount of praise was being bestowed on the health minister, despite the health minister not even offering one single penny, not even clearing one single file, not even, the health minister did not even know that a hospital is being constructed, because it was constructed due to the efforts of Sudha Murty and several other donors who donated. Sudha Murty donated the most because, she was the one because of whom that hospital was coming. But there were other donors as well who offered some little support. And we get to see that in some inauguration, usually a member of a reputed or a senior official or a big name of the society is called for inauguration, right? But Sudha Murty wanted to have the inauguration in the morning, but the chief guest was not willing to come in the morning. Therefore, they had to shift it till the evening. And then huge amount of praise was being bestowed on the man who did nothing for developing this hospital. So unsung donors are not being praised, and powerful politicians are being praised, right? So the minister, the government, they did not offer even a single penny. Rather, they were the ones who were being praised constantly. So it all shows, moral corruption. Everybody wants to get into the good books of the, of the chief guest, of the health minister. He's a powerful man. He's the health minister of the area. The doctors, the, staff wants to come in, close contact with him. They want to be on his right side, but nobody cares about Sudha Murty. But at the same time, Sudha Murty is not hungry for credit, right? Sudha Murty is not saying that she should have been getting all the adulation, all the praise. Rather, Sudha Murty realizes, and from this moment onwards, she becomes more resolute of serving people, because this incident where she was not praised and she was ignored by everyone made her realize that her job, her job in donating money and in charity was not to get praise, but rather to make a difference in the life of the people who are poor. To make a difference in the life of the people who are poor. And therefore, she makes it a point to donate even more later on, and without even without even expecting any amount of praise, right? But then this story is important because it makes us realize the society that we are living in. Sudha Murty wondered whether it is just politics or is it moral corruption. It is both, and definitely it is moral corruption which trumps politics here, right? But then she realizes that her work is not to please anyone, right, or to gain praises, but rather she wants to improve the suffering of the people, right, to reduce the suffering of the people. So therefore, this is a sorry state of affairs where everyone is just running around the health minister because of his powerful position, and no one really cared for the people who actually built, this building. So one must always remember that when on a high position, a person is not respected, rather his chair is respected. So, people honor their chair and not the person. It is always better to understand this, as soon as possible, right? for future generation of leaders. So this is story number 19. Let me come to the story number 20, which is titled Wretched of the Earth. So here Sudha Murty talks about a very dangerous disease called leprosy and how it can affect the poor and the rich. She goes to a colony of people who are suffering from leprosy, and she sees that the people there are living in very terrible condition, and she wants to help them. There are women who do not even have a piece of cloth on their body because they are so poor, and they are deformed, and leprosy is a dangerous disease, and they are infected. So she offers them saris and asks that 100 saris to be given to all the women who do not even have, they are the wretched people. They are in such terrible condition, and Sudha Murty is very, very upset to see their condition, and then she wishes to help them, right? So there is no fault that these women have, but then they are suffering because of the disease that they have contracted, right? Therefore Sudha Murty wants to say that the art of living is not in getting but rather in donating. So towards the end, she says that to serve our country means to serve these people, the poorest of the poor people, and not expecting anything in return. So according to Sudha Murty, serving the nation means serving the poorest of the poor and the weakest of the weak. This is our service to our country, Bharat. So, and the people who are in grim conditions, who are in such pathetic conditions, and also, not just Sudha Murty, all of us who are watching this lecture today, all of the viewers, we will take this lesson from Sudha Murty, and we will resolve that we will try to help the poorest of the poor people. We will try to help the weakest of the weakest people, and that is how we are going to contribute to the development of our nation. So that is why this story has been kept in your syllabus. So this is the value that we are adding onto their lives, right? So this is life. They are the various aspects of life. Each and every story, you will realize that each and every story, we have done till 20 stories till now. I'll be taking up the other 5 in the subsequent lecture. But till these 20 stories, each and every story is taking up one different aspect of life, right? Sudha Murty is providing us with one different aspect of life to show the various colors, the various hues, the various perspectives, the various views of life, and so on and so forth. So I hope the readers are enjoying this particular, paper titled Life and Literature, and for sure this wonderful collection of short anecdotal stories by Sudha Murty, which is titled Wise and Otherwise. It's a bestseller, and because it really has opened up the experiences that Sudha Murty has had through her long public life, through the fabulous public life that she has lived as a person who has served the nation, who has served the poorest people. And Sudha Murty definitely is one of India's Ratna. She is one of India's pride. She is one of India's foremost daughters, and we all can learn, even if we are not as rich perhaps as Sudha Murty, but then definitely we can donate some amount, or if not donate, we can do the right thing. We can help people. You can help your fellow mates, by you can help your fellow people, you can help the fellow poor people. There are, India today is still a poor country. We can make it a better one by helping the right people at the right time, right? So you can also help the others by, on a lighter note, I would say that you can help everyone else by sharing this video so that it reaches them and so that it adds some value to their life. Thank you so much for joining in with me. My name is Piyush Chaudhary. So thank you so much. On this note, I will end this lecture. In the next subsequent lectures, again, I'll be taking up 5, in multiples of 5, I'll be taking up subsequent, chapters till chapter number 51. As we know, this is a collection of short anecdotal stories by Sudha Murty. There are 51 stories. So please stay tuned for more lectures in this ongoing lecture series. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Thank you.